So far, it's been a big week for sports here in the world. I mean, we just had the Super Bowl, and hopefully the Bengals beat the damn Rams. By the way, screw Stan Kroenke for what he did to St. Louis and Arsenal. And this weekend, well, Daytona. Yep, the Daytona 500 is happening, and as you know, it's the start of the NASCAR season, and with the start of the NASCAR season, we could all get together in the hopes that NASCAR does not suck this season. It's sucked for the past few years. I hate stage racing. Well, I just hope it's better than last year. Because, let's face it, Kyle Larson just swept everything, and the chase really didn't matter. Anyway, to the topic at hand and the topic of game shows, a couple of weeks ago I did a Wednesday vlog on some of Speed Channel's offerings. You know, first it was Speed Channel, then Speed, and then it got absorbed by Fox Sports, then it became Fox Sports 1. And I kind of missed some of the shows that they had on there. You had loads of racing content on there, whether it be Formula 1, whether it be IROC, whether it be the ARCA series. A lot of that stuff's now on MAV TV. But when it comes to game shows, Pastime was a fantastic show. Not only that, you had Pink's and then the sequel series to that, which improved on it, Pink's All Out. But there's one show that I said I needed to talk about here, and that's the topic of today. There's a show called Trading Paint, which was a discussion series. You know, it delved into some serious stuff, and it didn't hold back. That show got canceled, and in its place was a game show. It tested your NASCAR knowledge, and it's even more boring than NASCAR is right now. So, as Darrell Waltrip would kind of say, boogity, 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 let's go quiz him, boys! It's time for NASCAR Smarts!
Hello and welcome to NASCAR Smarts, the show that tests NASCAR knowledge of true race fans. Each team is awarded points for correct answers, and the chance to win goes up with each round.
So strap into your 5-point, make sure your car's fueled up, make sure pit lane is ready to go, and get ready for some hardcore NASCAR quizzing, which is about as boring as stage racing is right now. NASCAR Smarts was started up in 2009 after the heads of Speed decided they needed to stop one of the hottest shows they had in Trading Paint, i.e. a serious discussion show about current events in NASCAR, and put on something safe and mass marketable. Thus, NASCAR Smarts was born. Hosted by the pre-show host John Roberts, two teams of two compete in a battle of NASCAR knowledge to see who's the bigger NASCAR fan. Just the description of the show isn't that exciting, and the execution of the show proved that it wasn't the case. It was even worse. The worst thing that you could do for any show is call it boring. And that goes double for a show that's based around auto sports. I mean, think about it. If you watch NASCAR, if you watch NHRA, if you watch Formula 1, if you watch IndyCar, I mean, you watch it for the thrills. You watch it for the high speed, and for those people out there, some really dangerous wrecks. And as for this show, it was about as safe as driving the speed limit on the Daytona track. Well, let's talk about the essentials of the show, and let's start with host John Roberts.
Without further delay, let's welcome your host, John Roberts.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Richmond. Guys, Mr. Wood, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
Give it up, man.
What's
John
happening,
Roberts.
guys? And our contestants as well.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone, to NASCAR Smarts, coming to you from the Richmond International Raceway. We are here tonight to test your NASCAR knowledge.
John Roberts used to host NASCAR Race Day around this time, so he's been doing a lot of TV for the sport. So it made sense to have him do this. He was also the host of Trading Paint at this time. The problem is that he hosted this a lot like he did Race Day and made it feel much more like an extension of that show instead of its own thing. He treated it more like a segment on the main Saturday show and the main pre-show on Sundays than its own beast. What also didn't help is that he was flanked by the two regulars of the show. The first one being Kyle Petty. He was John's cohort on Trading Paint, and they worked quite well there, because there's a couple of friends talking about racing with another person, and they weren't afraid to pull any punches on the events of the day. It was a good show with good chemistry. Here on NASCAR Smarts, he decides to throw all of that away and play the role of a goof. more akin to the NASCAR stereotype that permeates the fandom. And speaking of stereotypes, there's Rutledge Wood. He's a total gearhead who's known for being on the American version of Top Gear and at the time a host of Trackside. Your mileage might vary with Rutledge, and for me it gets about 9 gallons to the mile on an 8-gallon tank. He just grinds every last nerve that I have, and his humor and demeanor has instant change the channel heat with me. People might like him, but he makes good shows bad and bad shows worse in my eyes. Take a look at Floor's Lava for an explanation on that one. So we got two folks from Trading Paint who know what they're doing, and Rutledge Wood. Well, show can't get much worse. Oh wait, it can? Damn it. I want to talk about the set of the show. The show is staged at the Speed booth. They have the cameras on one side, and the backdrop is supposed to be the track that the show is taking place at this week. The problem is that the audience is mainly staring at the hosts and contestants' backs, and that's not a good setup should go. A show that normally takes place on the Speed stage has the set facing the crowd, and the small camera crew is on the middle edge and the leftmost and rightmost edges so the audience could watch everything. Here, they can't. So while it may look decent at home, the live crowd can't really see anything. The only time where they shot the show correctly at any part was during the All-Star episodes, when it looked like a decent low-budget set. But that doesn't mask the biggest flaw of the show: the format. Getting to the format is as basic as it gets. The first round has each team answering 3 multiple-choice questions in the style of Millionaire worth 10 points each. Getting it right earns the points, while an incorrect answer simply doesn't. I'd like to say there's more to this show, but there isn't. It's super dry, and that's not something that you want from a show that's dedicated to a sport that's all about action and speed. So you have to rely on the banter between John, Kyle, Rutledge, and the contestants, and it's very hit or miss. Round 2 is the same as round 1, but the points are doubled to 20 points, and the questions are a bit harder. Round 3 changes things up, and it's the media room round as a piece of footage is shown and a question is asked about it. They can answer the question outright for 30 points or take it as multiple choice for 10. At least these questions provide some entertainment with the classic NASCAR footage. That's like adding a grain of salt to a whole pot of mashed potatoes. Then we get some more grains of salt with a quick-fire true or false hot lap round where each correct answer is worth 10 points. The max being 8 questions in 60 seconds. Now, this is more like it when it comes to a sport all about speed, and a speed round is pretty good. It's also a good way to catch up because following this up is the final question. Here, the teams have to wager any, all, or none of their points on a poll question of the fans in NASCAR. Get it right, get the points. Get it wrong, and lose the points. It's kind of a jarring twist from a game all about NASCAR knowledge to a poll question about the fans. It's okay, but what's not alright is sometimes Kyle Petty doesn't know how to do math. More often than not, he'll bobble it, spending time poking fun at Rutledge, causing his teammate, who is dominating the whole show, to lose. The show didn't announce prizes for the contestants either, but I have to imagine that they got some speed swag or something like that. Also, it did feel a bit cheap since during this time, Pastime was on the air and airing regularly. On that show, if you won, you got $2,000. Sure, it wasn't easy winning the money since Ken Herring only lost once every 4 shows, but there was skin in the game and it made you excited to watch. NASCAR Smarts was at the track itself, so surely they could have given away some announced prizes like tickets to the next race or pit passes or something like that. Instead, it just felt hollow, like there was no stakes at all to watch the show. Now, Season 2 would change things up a bit where it was KP and Rutt teaming up against another team. I like this setup better since the contestants who wanted to be there to test their knowledge could, and they dumped that jarring poll question at the end to one big question about the track known as the White Flag Challenge. It was an improvement over the first season. However, the show would crash into the wall in the middle of the 2010 season, head to the pits, and the team folded immediately afterwards. I'm trying to figure out what was going on through the minds of Speed going from Trading Paint to NASCAR Smarts. Here's my working theory on that. NASCAR did not want a show that was pretty critical of the things going on in the sport. That's why Pitbull was canceled after 1 season, and likely the reason why Trading Paint was canceled as well. So they had a show that was safe and marketable and to have a broad appeal to everyone. They helped to appeal to the game show fans and the racing fans and the potential new fans to the sport. In reality, they made a game show that appealed to nobody. Non-NASCAR fans didn't care to learn about the sport's history. Game show fans hated it because the game was about as thin as Kyle Petty's hairline at the time. And NASCAR fans who wanted to know more about the sport were going to be shafted by the programming change from trading paint to this. And it was a disaster. And all I gotta say, this is what happens when you deviate from the heart of your sport to try to do broad-based appeal, and it absolutely failed. However, watching this old footage kind of reminds me, I do miss Speed a lot. They had a lot of good programming. I did enjoy Trading Paint. I did enjoy Pink's All Out, Pastime, and various other shows they had, especially Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. I don't know. I mean, Mav TV is kind of doing something like that with all of the automotive programming that they have on there, but many stations barely get it. I mean, it's probably in the upper tier of your cable or satellite provider, and yeah. I miss Speed. I really do. Maybe Mav TV can get some better cable deals or satellite deals, or maybe become one of those diginets, and who knows? Maybe it might make it big like what Speed did back in the day. Well, that's going to do it for me. I thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoy Daytona. Hopefully people who like NASCAR enjoy the upcoming NASCAR season. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Who's going to win the series this year? Could it be Kyle Larson going back-to-back? Could it be Brad Keselowski? Could it be, I don't know, AJ Allmendinger or anybody like that? Anyways, subscribe to this channel if you want more game show content, and if you want to help bring up the channel a bit, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/gameshowgumbo, where you get early access to every weekend video. Well, I'm Cindy Seidelman, and I gotta head to the pits. Take care, everyone.
Grains of sand and mashed potatoes? Where'd you get that from?
Grain of salt and mashed potatoes.
I thought you said sand.
No, I said salt.
I recommend you check the footage, because I'm sure you said sand.
Either way, it sucks.